All right, we're going to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. It's a regular meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale. Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. If everyone could please rise to salute our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Here.
Councilman D'Amato.
Here.
Della Ripa.
Here.
Hudson.
Here.
Julian.
Here.
Sondermeyer.
Here.
Yazdi.
Here.
Also with us is Brianna Calabro and Jen Alfield. We gave the attorney a pass this evening. This meeting is called pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on 12/23/19 and January 8th, 20. Copies were provided to all local news media and posted here at the Borough Hall. We have postponed our Red Twig Trail Sidewalk Assessment hearing to a later date. We have time. I wasn't planning on billing that till January anyway, so again, we'll wait till things get better. There's no early exec. There are 6 non-agenda items. The first is just a notice that was given to the council on the state of emergency that we are going to declare this evening. We've begun implementing it, but we need to get a formal proclamation. There's also a motion to allow Tastefully British to open his truck on site. I'd like to waive his fee just to give takeout options to our residents to have more ability to get food. We have a resolution authorizing if future meetings needed to be canceled. It's a resolution to allow myself and in my absence our CFO to pay reoccurring bills, our gas, electric, Board of Ed, and so on. And then we have an authorization to hold utility billing on 15 Sally Street where we had a terrible fire, and that is a normal procedure until they're re-hooked up again to sewer and water. And then number 6 is giving me authorization, if the need arises, to hire earlier than normal summer help. We have college kids who are home now, and if we need, gosh forbid, we had an inundation at DPW of an illness or childcare needs, and we needed help. I just want that ability, if needs, to hire them in April versus our normal May or June date. Okay, so those 6 items are non-agenda. I need a motion for early public comment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to agenda item? Just name and address. I know we know it, but you gotta still do it.
Bernie Brown, 183 Green Avenue. I want to clarify a couple of things. First of all, how many of you know what the circuit team does?
The Community Emergency Response Team? Again, in a crisis like we're having, or a crisis like a flood, we would mobilize you guys if the need arose.
Do you know what we would actually be doing?
It would be wonderful if you can tell us this evening, Bernie.
Again, some of you have worked with me in the past. The team has been called out for almost every event that was made during this community.
Right.
And it's all volunteer. Unfortunately, the attorney is not there because you won't find anything about certain in title court. It's a division of OEM and the federal government. Okay. Made up of volunteers. It doesn't cost this borough a nickel to have this team. All the equipment is provided by the federal government. All the training is provided by the federal government. I happen to be the training instructor. So, with that being said, we are on standby right now. And that came over, that one came down from the state last week. Okay? And we will be tasked, believe it or not, with food distribution wherever it's needed in the borough.
Wonderful. Okay. I'd ask that you communicate with Mike Hudson, head of our OEM,
We
and
forwarded that email that came
That's good.
from County OEM from the state. So,
wonderful, because I know they were talking about the food distribution in lieu of closing the food program in the county. I have received no other information whether they're beginning that or when or et cetera.
The only reason we sit at the table is because of insurance purposes.
Well, again, we certainly appreciate the CERT team, and I know you've been very responsive in the past on our natural disasters. And, again, I know you're on standby. As you know, you work with Mike and OEM and the police, so, we'll stay in touch.
Unfortunately, former Councilwoman Huntley is not here, so you guys can hear this, okay? But I wanted to clarify. Again, I am not part of search and rescue in Bloomingdale. I am not being reappointed. I am now on the county search and rescue. Separate entity.
And just to clarify, the non-reappointment was at your request.
Right.
Right.
So, again, by the way, I didn't request not to come back. I just wasn't reappointed, which is fine.
On search and rescue?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that now, Bernie, because we're trying to go home and quarantine ourselves, but I respectfully disagree. You want to be on search and rescue? I'll do it tonight.
I'm already on those two.
That's fine, because that's what you stated is not accurate. Anything else?
No, it was after.
I'm not gonna get into
that team after the fact.
Okay.
It's okay, that's fine. I'm all right with that. And again, going back to what we were talking about before, it's very, very important for people on this day to understand, and I know the mayor understands. When I served on this council, the first task that I was assigned, myself and Bill Stevenson, the representatives for Bloomingdale and State Master Plan Committee, which formulated the state master plan. The township, or the town center portion of that actually came out of what we did. So, again,
Right, which you will be reappointed to the town center committee.
I saw that.
Yeah, and the reason being, and that's on the agenda, I have to have certain amount of required individuals. And technically having you on CERT, the attorney did clarify that. Okay, now I see why you're asking the question and bringing this up. I was a little confused prior to that. Our attorney said, based on your appointment to CERT by the borough, because it is an appointment by the borough, you didn't qualify. So I had you as the at-large resident.
Right.
So I satisfied that with Hack Miller,
Right.
who's going to be appointed, and you're still on it just as an additional team member because of your knowledge.
But again,
past.
just to clarify the point, again, I was part of that process from inception. So, again.
That's why I put you on.
And again, you and I had a conversation around the phone.
Yeah, wait, but you're on it.
I wanted to make everybody aware of it, correct?
That's why you're on it.
I'm done.
But thank you, Bernie, very much. Anyone else? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So,
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you. Any reports? Any council member? Bree?
I don't have anything.
All right, and just guys, I've emailed you as much as I can. We're doing a state of emergency. I've had so many meetings, conference calls with COVID-19, I've actually lost count. But we have it totally under control in the borough in the sense of our organization and with police, fire. We've closed the building to the public, all the buildings to the public. I'm looking at altering DPW hours so all our guys aren't together. We're still working on that. We created a checklist for visitors. Animal control still may have to visit a home, or construction still may have to do a necessary inspection. We're not doing air conditioning inspection. We're doing necessary footings and things that need to be done to continue, let's say, a project. And we created a checklist that we're utilizing before any of our employees enter into a home or any situation with potential resident, as far as just a checklist of, have you been overseas? Do you have symptoms? And so on and so on. So a lot of work has been put in place. We are closing parks. It's kind of at your own risk kind of thing, mainly because playground equipment is not sanitized daily. So, we're going to post signs and, it'll be more like an at your own risk kind of thing. So lots still, every day it changes. Bree's been instrumental and Dawn's been instrumental in helping getting messaging out. I know we're trying to work, I just sent you guys an email about the website. We really need to fill that COVID-19.
No, Bree and I are on that. She has all the information.
We need to get it up because it's empty now. John, again, we had a meeting yesterday with Board of Health, our health officers who are, Pete Coriel retired, so Tom, the new guy, he was wonderful at the meeting. But we had everybody, we had the Board of Ed, superintendent, every department head. I thought it was a very good meeting yesterday. again, just following directions from the county and the state and so on. So just rest assured that we're in the place we need to be right now.
When the governor of New York there was encouraging people to go to the parks.
Again, we're not going to close.
Kids out of
We're
the-
not going to close the walking path. We got a notice from the GIF about parks. It's the playground equipment. So I don't care if someone's like, for example, we're canceling the trout contest. I don't. You have the 50 or more. That the police may want to stop and say, hey, disperse yourselves or whichever. But it's the equipment that could be a hazard for someone.
So I have two things. Pompton Lakes actually did yellow tape around all their,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what we're gonna do.
We should follow suit. And then
With signage.
my other thing is the notice to the town. Pretty much what Bree and I are putting on the website, I'll start formulating into a letter.
Okay.
Okay?
Because our concern there to the council is Facebook website doesn't hit everybody.
Absolutely
So
not.
we may have mostly a senior base we're concerned about, that we want to make sure we target, to Bernie's point about the food issue, that we need assistance, and get that out as soon as we can to our public.
Right.
So, I could talk a million things, but it's organized, it's well, everyone stepped up as far as the roles from OEM to police, et cetera. So, speaking of Pompton Lakes, they had their first positive case today. Pompton Lakes. It's just announced. 46-year-old man, I don't know the detail. So. All right, so, again, any questions, please call me on that, but I assure you we're in the best place we could be right now. Item 10, a consent agenda. I need a motion, which includes resolutions 3.9 through, sorry, 3.8. Which one's 8? I'm sorry, the consent agenda, 3.8 through 14. Who makes that motion, please?
So, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? That motion carries. Pending item is our zoning chapter on the infamous ducks, just clarifying language for that enforcement. This was approved by the planning board, and I need a motion, public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
And who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 5, regulations governing certain areas, Section 92-21, residential and agricultural uses, hotels and motels of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
And at this time, I need a motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 7/2020? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who moves to adopt?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tomato?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Kulin?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
New business. I need a motion for resolution 2020 3.15, payment of the bills. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Delariva?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes, with the exception of PO 2000348.
Kulin?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Tomato?
Yes, with the exception of vendor 01463.
Item B, I need a motion for 2020 3.16, awarding the contract for Boston Street improvements to Legal Utility Service. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Kulin?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Tomato? Delariva?
Yes.
Need a motion for Resolution 2023-17, authorize the hiring of part-time dispatcher Randy McMaster. The one change from the resolution is I'm asking that it's effective tomorrow, March 18th, versus April 1st. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, Resolution 2023.18, authorizing quarterly mileage reimbursement allowance for our fire inspector, Robert Westdyke, and our property maintenance, Mr. Mark Redfield. This would be at $40 per month, which averages 70 miles a month based on the federal standards. I believe that's a more effective way than tracking miles, I believe will exceed $40 a month that way, and they're fine with this way. Who makes that motion, please? You have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Julian?
Yes.
Stonemeyer?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Tomato? Del Ripa?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Next is a motion for 2023.19. This is approval of the CWA Local 1032 Blue Collar DPW contract. First, I'd like to have a motion for that contract
So moved.
Second.
and discussion. I'd just like to thank John D'Amato and Rich for being on the committee and the union working with us, how it ended up. We did a 5-year contract. It is a 2% raise for the employees. And let me start here. The average annual increase on the blue collar contract was about $51,000 based on steps and prior raises. The average 51. This increased contract is about $36,000 to the borough. It's 2% on current staff. We put steps back in for the staffs hired after the June, on the date, but last contract, we removed steps on anyone hired new, and it really has deterred retention because the income was just kind of flat. So we did not go nearly like it was. That was just too rich. In the past, it averaged 9%. The steps over 15 years are 3.5% annually. So the difference over a 15-year period is about $16,000 that the guy will make more in 15 years versus the straight 2% raise. But where we save money were two ways. We're changing their copay on insurance to $15 versus 10. That's a $16,000 savings to the borough. And we're changing their tier on health contribution, which saving the employee a little money, contributing less. The borough's contributing more. At the end of the day, our net increase annually is $36,000, which we raise, step, buyback on deductible, on copay. So it's a very positive contract for both sides, certainly is. And white collar, we're just starting now, and I believe we'll be
The new guys that we hire, they're full steps. They don't get
they don't get the 2%.
They don't get the 2%.
Right. It's just a 3.5% step. They don't get that plus
They
the
don't
2.
get both, like before they used to get both. That's why
Correct.
they wind up
Before they used to get the
astronomical.
4% raise and the step average 9. It's just a 3.5 on step. And it's it worked out really well. So any questions on that?
When did you begin the negotiations?
Excuse me?
When did you begin the negotiations for the
Well, the
contract?
contract expired December 31st of this year. The delay was on their part. We reached out in September, multiple times, and I would say we started negotiation in December.
December, and then, yeah.
So, it was, we met without any attorneys or their representation, got real close, and then they brought in their rep, just to fine tune, and I went to DPW multiple times because the health insurance kind of confuses some individuals as far as any time there's a change on health insurance, but it's a good change for the borough and the savings aspect. It's retro to January 1st, so even though we're in March, the raise, everything will go back to January 1st, the contract expiration. And it's 5 years, which is good. But the bottom line is our annual increase is less than it was even in 2019 on the total package. So, it's good. All right, can I have a roll call now, please?
Stonemeyer?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Tomato?
Yes.
Del Ripa?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Julian?
Yes.
Item F, need a motion for resolution 3.20. This is really finally getting our Tilcon deal moving. The first item is the land donation agreement. There's an agreement with a resolution you've all been copied on some time ago. And this is just laying out the affordable housing component and the court order and all those good things and how they're going to donate us the land for the development of affordable housing. So that's on the land donation portion. Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? I need a roll call.
The quarrying on it is still what they said 4 years ago, they're only going to go up to a certain line?
Yeah, it turns out like 14 acres
Right.
to the curves on that. Yeah, they have to, before they'll transfer the land to the borough, part of this deal is they have to go to our planning board for that expansion site plan approval.
Right.
So that'll come next.
So the footprint has not changed?
Correct.
Okay.
Comment? Roll call, please.
Bazey?
Yes.
Tomato?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Doolin?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
The next item is approving an easement use with Finbar/Tilcon, Resolution 23.21. As a part of them accessing what will be our 33 acres of affordable housing, they need to access it through some of that land to build a whole road from the existing quarry to that 33 acres. So that when it's developed, all the stone can be brought that way through a haul road versus driving on Union Ave, and going out that way. We, after years of negotiation, and I can't get too specific because we're still negotiating with the developer, we always had the concept of Tilcon doing the site work, which just became a very abstract, difficult thing to understand based on not even having a developer on it, what's their elevations, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to realize $2.4 million from Tilcon for the use of this easement, and then realize this purchase of the land to a developer, which again, I'm not getting into specifics because we're still negotiating, which will be substantial revenue for the borough. So right now, all we're doing is approving the easement for them to utilize the whole road, which part will be on our property. So who makes that motion for resolution 321?
So moved.
Any further discussion?
Real
Is
quick,
it
John,
10 year, they anticipate the project being 10 years?
No, it's just for restoration and all. The anticipation is with site work, building, 4 to 5 years, but then their responsibility is rehabilitating that whole road to its natural state with trees and all that. So they asked for a 10-year extension on that.
the 2.4 million, is that in addition to some of the numbers that have been discussed for the sort of the cash infusion to our town?
Yes.
Or that's
No, that's the
in addition
part of
or
it.
inclusive?
If the number with land sale, Tilcon's portion, not counting any inspection fees or sewer hookups in the, $10, $11 million range, that's included in that.
That's included, okay.
And if you add sewer hookup fees, construction, you're more along the, 14 million mark or thereabouts.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, where were we? We had a motion.
You had a second, you were in discussion.
Second, and any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tomato?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Doolin?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
The next item is just up for discussion, a digital sign at Sloan Park. The digital sign concept has always been, for the last 6 years, a plan in the design, the money's in the plan. And then after it's completed, Councilman D'Amato raised an issue, valid issue, his opinion, on do we want another digital sign there? Is it, John feels it takes away from the aesthetics of the park, the monuments, and that was his position. So we could have a discussion, hopefully not too long of one, it's not happening overnight, so we can, take action in another meeting. But personally, I support the digital sign there, especially with what's going on today. I think they're so valuable for something like when I'm trying to get messages out like this. I don't think it'll take away from the monuments or the aesthetics if it's done properly, not as bulky as the ones here. So it's up for discussion. We're not going to vote on anything. Let's just.
We're not voting?
John, you want to give your,
Well, here's what I did. We went down there and looked. John gave me some measurements of signs, so I went down there with a tape measure. I guess everybody has seen the park finished where it is. So if you're looking at the bridge, it's directly to the left of the bridge on that stone that's there. Okay?
On the other side, on the island side,
If you're facing the
No.
bridge to the left, on the monument side.
on the
You
road.
know where the
On the
green,
right side.
actually, it was Bernie Room's son's Eagle Scout project, the green board,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
Right there. So I said, okay. So we went down and looked, we were looking at a sign that was kind of on an angle so you could see it from both directions. And when he did that, the fence line is in the way of the visibility of the sign, seeing it coming from here to there. And when you come up the other way, you have telephone poles, you have other stuff that will, in my opinion, you're not gonna be able to read it. So we talked about turning the sign towards Main Street. So the only people that'll be able to see that is the people coming across Reeves, making that turn going on Hamburg Turnpike, pretty much in either direction. I think it's a distraction. So, and I also think it takes away from the monuments in the park, because the bridge we put in is a beautiful bridge, it's got that rustic rail on it. We have the Veterans Monuments on one side, so we put a sign on that side, that's gonna be, in my opinion, cluttered. And it takes away from the way the park looks. So, okay, so, and I asked some other people besides the neighbors just me, I asked other people what they thought, and they kind of agreed. So then I said to myself, I said, let me see. So I went, I took my iPad, set it up on my dashboard, and drove down there. I know where it's going to be facing. You're not going to be able to read the sign from either direction from Hamburg Turnpike. If anybody wants to see that, I can show you. You'll get a quick glimpse of it. Do I think we need another digital sign? That's another discussion. Can we put it somewhere else? Some of us said down towards the exit into Riverdale, there's a little section that we have there. Maybe it should go there. I thought maybe up at both ponds for people coming that direction to see what's going on. We have 2 digital signs now. Everybody from, I think, the Knowles Road, Hillside, that cuts across, goes down UNAP 287, they see it. Anybody that lives in our area, up here in my area, you're able to see the sign here. That's a lot of information. Overall, the best signs we have are the banners across the road. Everybody sees them in either direction, no matter what. That's just my take on it. I'm only one vote, if we ever vote for this, but I just think it's not a place to put a digital sign.
What's the total cost of the sign?
Well, there's 21,000.
21 grand. I know there was money in the
It's in the Sloan Park.
Sloan Park. We're gonna add some to it, possibly. I saw in the capital of that. We were gonna
That came out of capital. If you look at the revised one, because after I got the numbers,
But
so
that's what I was
soup to nuts.
no. So there's enough money in the bond, whether I do the fake stone or
No,
the,
I'm not debating it. The 21,000 was without. the
no,
stone.
19,000 was without the stone, maybe it's 23,000.
23,000.
Whatever it is, there's enough money in the bond. We don't need to add it. If you look at the last capital I sent you guys, the GovOps committee, I removed that.
That was good.
I didn't need it. I mean, my position is, even if you don't do that, I think you should get a really nice, carved something like
I
this.
agree.
But the point is, you still got a sign there. Why is that not taken away from the monument?
It's the digital side of it. You put a Sloan Park sign up there like this for an entrance to the park. When you walk in the park, you see that. You're not looking for information. A digital sign is nothing but information board with Sloan Park on top of it. If you can't read it, people have a hard time reading these.
I disagree with you. This one is so visible. This one is, the resolution on this one's.
Not
really
hard
good.
time driving up and seeing it from a distance. Hard time is reading it. From everybody not everybody, people have said that with all the stuff that goes on behind
See,
it.
that's my artwork. When I do a simple, look at tonight when you leave, look at blue background, yellow letters. It's so visible. When I do fireworks behind it, yeah, definitely. I create this
I agree.
stuff.
And then the other thing I thought about is I went and looked at other towns. All their digital signs are at their borough hall. Kettle one, Butler doesn't have one. Riverdale, West Milford, Quantico.
Compton's is at their library,
Compton is at the point which is actually the fire department.
but it's the center, it's not the library.
Plus the fire department's digital sign, it's not the town.
But it's the center of town, like Kimmel.
Oh, there's another one down on here. Yeah, okay, but there's another one at the point. There's one at the point of the park. Compton.
I personally like the concept because more people would see it, except if it's only facing the one street, then to John's point, you miss it.
Well, because if you did
Then
two,
what's
it'd
the
be too
point?
expensive, you know, you'd be $40,000 if you did two.
Yeah, but I'd rather, it's about giving information to the public.
Right. Here's what
Right? It's not about
here-
anything other than that.
Here's what I was gonna suggest. We're not voting on it tonight. Even if you did, and you did this side or that side, nothing's happening overnight. Chances are our May 2nd park opening is gonna be delayed. So we have time, and it may not, whatever we do may not be there for May 2nd. The police have their new trailer, their new, why don't I have the chief, and things calm down here a little bit, put it there with a message, Sloan Park closed, or whatever, the park's closed. So everyone, I'll email you when it's there, and you can drive by.
But
I
John,
would like to
why
make a
not put it
suggestion.
the other way?
Huh?
Why not put it the other
Well,
way?
I'm saying I can have chief put it the way
Somewhere else.
John's saying, and put it this way, put it that way.
Yeah, not facing
The area in
trees.
front of, the area
you can
that he
read it
wants to
both
put it
ways.
is a small area.
Move it down to where
And
we
the
are.
other concern I have is,
Electric.
there's a lot of electric under that ground that's all brand new and conduit. If that gets hit,
That's the
then we
job. You
gotta,
gotta-
I understand that, but like,
That can be a decision.
All right, can I make a suggestion?
I think it is.
If they're gonna call,
We get calls in the middle of the night, lights out. back
Wait, we got
on,
more
lights out,
suggestions.
back
Hold
on.
on.
Stop.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I've mentioned this a million years ago, and I still think it's worth at least looking into before everybody kind of poo-poos the idea. I like the idea of a digital sign. I do not like it on the park side. I really don't. When John mentioned it to me, I drove by, I really looked at it. I do think it's gonna be too busy. I think it's too much. But one of the things I mentioned years ago is across the street at the, in the parking lot.
Train
uh,
station?
No. Across the
Oh,
street
where
at the
tree is on
IGA.
the IGA, yeah.
Where the tree in that, in the IGA parking lot. This is what I think is, if we're gonna really consider this, why not approach the owner and ask him if we could have that corner? I'm sure he wouldn't mind donating it, and a sign would be great on both sides. You could see it from one side, you could see it from the other. It doesn't distract from the park.
What do you mean, double-sided sign?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then you'd be at, 40 grand.
then
20
do one side. Like what, I'm just saying, it's an option for something that's not in the park. It is too busy, in my opinion, in the park. And I think it is gonna take away from the beauty of it. We worked very hard on that park. But also looking at possibly doing it on the other side and asking him to use that little piece of property. There's nothing wrong with
They
that.
also
But that's-
thought the park idea, if you really wanna put it there, is the beginning of the fence, when we just put that extra turn, like Dan Mauer's office. It'd be on an angle, facing Hamburg Turnpike, everybody coming down Hamburg Turnpike, you see that, it would get it away from the monuments, not disrupt the look of the park, and we would achieve.
I would be a no for the park.
What we're talking about is a sign at the park, okay? If the answer is no to digital, we know we're gonna spend 12 grand to get something like this, right? So that money's there. Your idea, I'm not poo-pooing it, but that's, you can't use this money. This is Sloan Park project. You'd have to, bond new money. So let's say there's 31,000 left, 31,000 for the sign in the bond. So let's say you spent, 15 on a nice carved wooden sign. You'd have, 16,000 left. You'd have to amend the bond, to then do a digital somewhere else and then fund it. Now, there's no electric in that corner, so you'd have to rip asphalt sidewalks, get power there, meter, all that exists in the park. So I'm not poo-pooing it, but that's maybe down the road, but not part of this discussion because this is money specific to Sloan Park. So the question here is, digital at Sloan or no? Not
Well, to
where
take,
else
to
it can
take,
go.
I'm a
to
no
add
for
to
the
Dawn's,
digital sign.
well, to add to Dawn's idea, right? Why not put it, if we're gonna ask someone, see if we can get that corner, beginning of the town, right? To me, it's all about getting information to the public. And this sign here and the sign up on Union, not everybody goes up Union that far.
You know,
Not
right,
everyone
you're not-
comes down,
You're never gonna
Main
get
Street
everybody.
this far, right? Half the town is missing what's going
Not
on
half.
on these signs.
Some.
A lot going up,
Not half.
a lot of homes aren't coming across signs.
People go into Butler, they go to the dry cleaner, they go to the Dunkin' Donuts, and people are driving by the sign. Again, my theory was, in the morning and at rush hour in the evening, that's bumper to bumper dead stop zone. that everyone will see this sign at those two times. Forget 3 in the afternoon, whoosh, it happens, I get it, right? But in the morning, rush hour, both times, perfect. They're just sitting in traffic.
So, couple of quick thoughts.
Stop.
I agree with John about sort of taking away the significance of the memorials with the digital sign at Sloan. From the bridge in Riverdale to the bifurcation along Main Street, there's a lot of information. There's banners, there's signs. And from September through the end of the school year, leaving Bloomingdale from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. is challenging. You've got sun glare, you've got traffic, you've got people making left-hand turns, right-hand turns, school buses, people going around. Just to add another distraction and another reason to kind of slow down, to me, maybe not the best place for it. I see value in the sign. There's 3 main arteries in our town, right? We can argue Union, Hamburg, and Glenwild. Maybe it's Glenwild by the park. You're still getting the information out there. I don't know how many cars travel down every day or back and forth dropping kids off to the schools. But maybe it's a great idea. I just don't support the location, that's all.
But again, here, if this isn't gonna fly, if this is not gonna fly, then I would support doing a nice wooden carved sign and amend the bond and, look at Glenwild, even look at the fireman's parking lot. That sign's crap, making the new one there. So that could be a separate conversation, because you'd have to amend the bond. It could be a donation to the fire department. They need a new sign.
They do. We're gonna look at them. So let's move on there. Okay, because they're too expensive. Can't afford it.
Well, no, not if you get a plain Jane, no fancy word.
It's $15,000 for a
Yeah,
plane.
he said to that.
Yeah.
So, all right, again, is it okay if I place Chief's trailer there just to get a visual?
Sure.
And see, because we're not doing anything.
No, I think the park looks so good that people automatically leaving and coming into town are doing this, right? They're doing that. They're slowing down. Just to add another element to the equation, I don't know.
Fine, whatever you guys decide. But
Yeah, put it there.
let me put the trailer there, get a visual, and you might sell me on it based on me seeing that, but I definitely want something there. If it's not visual, it's something really nice.
I think
Sloan
something
Park.
really nice
Yeah.
has to be there saying this is the park. I agree with that.
Right.
But that
Okay.
adds to the rustic look, the town center of the park.
Right, and again,
Love it.
there's no rush in the sense that, even if you were voting for it, I don't even think it would happen by May 2nd. It takes weeks for these things to come in, so we got time. And I'll do the trailer there, and then we'll go from there. I know, Jen, just wait till late public comment. I know you raise your hand, but we gotta wait. All right, at this time, oh no, we have non-agenda items. What do I usually do? Non-agenda, actually. I announce it. Yeah, no. You're good. All right, non-agenda items, real quick. The first one was a press release I sent to everyone on the state of emergency we're declaring in Bloomingdale. And part of that is item 3 on the agenda, which is moving the proclamation of a state of emergency for the citizens and persons within the borough of Bloomingdale. So who makes that motion, please?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
There's no motion. I would like a motion to waive the fees for Tastefully British to, for 30 days, put his truck back up to help our residents with food options during this crisis.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
John, you said 30 days?
That's normally what the permit goes.
If there's flexibility and we need to
We'll
extend
deal
it
with
out,
it. My issue with too much of an extension is he's just gonna continue to delay his project.
no, understood.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Exactly. We'll consider it after 30 days. I don't, maybe. I need a motion for resolution
I need them.
20. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 4, 23.22, authorizing the payment of vouchers, recurring vouchers in the event the meeting had to be canceled. It's myself or my option CFO who makes that motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone else an aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion 2020, 3.23, authorization to hold utility bills on 15 Sally Street Fire. Who makes
So
that?
moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the 6th item was authorization, and I'll email you if it was the need, to hire summer help earlier, a month earlier than normal if I find a shortage in DPW. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
On that subject, I just want to talk about,
Do we do them all?
yeah, the first one was a press release. I didn't have to take
Okay.
action on it. On the issue, I just want to give everyone a heads up because we're going to have to deal with this sooner than later. Under civil service, which we're not, if someone is absent because, obviously, because they're, God forbid, they're sick with corona, or have to take care of a family member who's sick with corona, or has to take care of a child because school's closed. Under civil service, when that employee takes their time, it does not go against their vacation or sick time. We're not civil service. Our contracts don't address a crisis like this. The governor has a couple pieces of legislation on his desk, which I may have sent you guys, and one of them is doing the same thing as civil service for municipal government employees. Talking to some people, they're saying that he may just keep it at the prerogative of the local towns. So we may have to deal with this someday. I created a list of employees who may need assistance with childcare. It's not a crazy list. Personally, I think I would support not taking all their time away for vacation, but there'd be limitations. 2-week max. We did 3 weeks, but it can't be consecutive. I don't know yet. Like right now, we have one DPW guy who's out for the week because his spouse used all her vacation in the private sector and is in the medical field. It was mandated back to work. And the grandmother who usually watches just got back from overseas, and she's up quarantined. They're 14 days before they. So that's just one example, and that's the only example I have right now. But it may change. It may change due to illness, And the goal is because they, like police, are essential employees. So, we need to do what we can to keep everyone isolated so we don't get an issue within those two departments. We got to pick up garbage. We got to provide police protection. So just put that in the back of your minds because we may have to have that discussion unless it becomes law. Unless the governor makes it a law, then it is what it is. We don't have to have that discussion.
I thought I saw a bill going in for another.
It's supposed to be voted on Tuesday. But it's not slam dunk. It may be prerogative of the towns. Speaking with Councilman D'Amato, he had a great idea, and I ran it by DPW, and it's something we were going to consider and are going to consider. Matter of fact, we're probably going to start it this weekend. Because even though baseball is postponed to May 10th or something,
11.
DPW still has to get fields ready and operate, right? So, one of the guys, actually there's two guys who are currently out. One's just 3 days for childcare. They're going to come in Saturday on, no overtime, no additional pay. It's just one of these bank days that they're using to help the fields work. So, to your point, we're going to be doing that. So it's something we have to deal with. And it's not just essential. If there's some staff members in this building who may have a similar child care need or something. So I'm waiting. I'm asked every day about it. But my answer is I'm waiting for the governor to give direction. And if he doesn't, then we'll revisit it. Right? The other issue is if you're asked, I've already made this determination, the crossing guards are not working. But they're eligible for unemployment. It's different. They don't have employment. Their job is closed. It's like summertime. And they go on unemployment because it came to me from the union. What about them? I said, well, they got to file unemployment. It's different. They're also part-time and don't get vacation and sick time. Right? So anyway, so that's just out there. Right? So I'll bring more to you when he becomes I have to make a decision on it. So like the one who's out for a week, I said, listen, you got to do it. And he did. He's like, I'm going anyway, but, hoping he doesn't lose that time, So
Do we have anything else the crossing guards can do?
we thought about that. The other option is you can offer them other work within the borough for their pay, which is not low. And if they deny it, then they're not eligible for unemployment. I did the math on that. If every one of them took the employment, it's cheaper to go unemployment.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we need cleaning done, because we're overly cleaning and stuff like that, maybe maybe the parks could be taken care of with, I saw, the other day at Bow Pond, there was a parent there with a bottle of alcohol, washing all the stuff down so the kid could go
God bless them.
and do that. I mean.
Well, they only work, crossing guards get paid 3 hours a day. I mean, their rate vary from $15 to $25 an hour, you know, depends. I looked at that because when I found out they go on unemployment in the summer, they go on unemployment for Christmas break, they go on unemployment for spring break. I ran all the numbers and it was actually cost effectively to let them go on unemployment than for us to, if all 10 or however many said, I'll take the job. So, you know, if we run into that kind of need, the summer help is what we're doing, that's cheaper.
True.
Somebody's making almost $30 an
Can they
hour.
babysit?
What's that?
Can they babysit for the DPW?
So anyway, that's out there, all right? We'll bring that back another day. I need a motion for late public comment. Yeah, late public
Second.
comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Jan, did you have something?
Jen Oldfield, 17 Cedar Street. 2 questions.
Yes,
Tastefully British.
yes.
What is going on with them?
He got his approval in November, and it's just
How long is that approval good for?
a resolution.
Forever?
2 years, I think it is. I spoke to him a month or so ago, and he said he's gonna get rolling on it, you know, soon, but what can I tell you? I know it's gonna happen. He's gonna get, well, I guess most of his events will be canceled, because he usually does Easter time fish and chip stuff, so they're all canceled.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before now,
I can't,
because this has been going for a long
it's a
time.
privately owned piece of property. I can't make the guy do anything. He got his approval, and which was a challenge to some degree.
I
don't wanna talk
understand the
publicly about
family
that.
challenge. I
Well,
know
About
that.
the approval challenge.
Well, he had county issues, but Jen, I can't force him to do anything. I mean, I don't want to talk about it publicly, so
Next
he's
thing.
working on it.
This digital sign?
Yes,
Are we becoming Broadway?
Broadway's closed right now, so let's hope not.
It makes the town too busy. It's ugly. You want to savor. Bernie and I have been working as far as Sloan Park. Back 10 years ago, we were trying to get things straightened out. Back when the bridge, right? Come on, you want to slap a sign up there now?
No, it wouldn't be slapped. It would be tasteful, like anything we do.
Don't
Thank
use
you.
the British name.
Thank you for your comments. Duly noted. Mrs. Allfield.
But seriously,
I'm serious. It doesn't look like I have the votes anyway.
it's tacky.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Like, public comments closed. Anyone else? See no one. Quickly, motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
I got 5 minutes.
governing body schedule, introduction of budget, April 7th. Drew, I offered you a meeting with finance, so you could learn the ropes and how all that works, so let's try to do that before
Yep.
that. I mean, that's introduction, not adoption, so. But depending on our corona issue, we may have to go stream it live if we're gonna close it to the public. Tonight, we didn't have time to organize that. And it would be on Facebook Live, so maybe Rich, we can speak with Bree, and well, he only has to do is speak with you, you don't have to do anything. Facebook Live, where, again, I'm ignorant to it. You do it on a cell phone, you do it,
Well, how would we do Facebook, like, we'd have to be present for that?
well, we'd have to be here,
Right,
yes.
but I'm saying, wouldn't.
And then the
wouldn't
residents
it
would be able to type in questions.
A lot of the Passaic County clerks are really going back and forth about this, because a lot of towns are this week in meetings but canceled, but some towns are already introducing budgets. A lot of people are using Facebook, but I'll get more feedback before the 7th.
Well, they are,
Well,
no,
we
no,
have to
we
have-
we have to be here.
Right, that's what I thought
Yeah.
Ron's question was, would we
No,
have to be here?
we have
I think
to
the
be
answer is yes.
Well, I
But
guess
if
my
we
question
get an
is,
advertisement out that still opens it, that the public can call us and interact,
there's a lot more to it than just going Facebook Live, but
Right.
Hey, Brad,
it can be done.
Is anybody using Microsoft Teams?
We newly have that, but.
For those of you that don't know, I work in healthcare, and I live in ORs and operating rooms, and I support surgeries. And I can't go to my hospitals. I'm no longer be allowed back. So hospitals are setting up systems through Microsoft Teams, where I'm virtually in the OR, okay, and I can communicate with the doctors. So that could be technology we can look at as well.
Well, that's what
It's
I'm
fairly
wondering.
Well, the
straightforward.
7th is gonna be here before we know it, so.
Well, that's why I'm also wondering, is it possible that we could do more like conference call where if somebody, we leave the number out there and if somebody wants to call in,
Yeah.
then instead of a Facebook Live
But I
where
think
they're
it has to
watching
be-
it
But
and
a
only
conference
able to
call only
type.
allows so many people.
Not necessarily, you could do lots of people,
Yeah,
you could do up to like 50 people.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but it has to be set up that way.
There's very
Well, logistics
specific
challenges,
rules
yeah.
I think
to the
the
open
point-
public
There
meeting.
should be
I
a
think we
chat,
have to
we
wait
should
for
be able to do a
clarification
chat.
on what will and
Well-
won't be allowed.
But I know like the county did it tonight. The county did Facebook Live, and residents can type in, so the clerk or someone's looking at, oh, we have a question, during that open public
You
session.
have to get on Facebook.
And no,
Facebook account.
right, and no disrespect, I wish we had more people here, but based on our history, we're not gonna get any. I wish we did, but Jen will send us one.
Now that they're all gonna be home cabins, you may have a
Well,
bunch of
maybe.
people on there.
What am I gonna do?
Give me something to do
But
tonight.
it's safer than opening it public.
Absolutely.
So, again, whoever has more, we can talk to IT, we'll talk to Michael tomorrow, see if we can do something. I was just thinking, get a tripod with a phone on it and film this way, and,
Perfect.
Right,
Line up the side here.
camera up is not, I just want to make sure that whatever solution we choose is legally palatable.
We-
Yeah, and I
You're
don't
right,
think
because
something
the
that have
Open
a,
Public Meetings Act
have
is
somebody
very
sue us about.
specific
Yeah,
to
exactly.
how we handle open public meetings.
but
So
with this all going on, it's kind of loosening the purse strings a little bit
We
here.
get notices every day.
Right.
You can broadcast. but we
Rich,
have to
which
do
is,
it right.
We just gotta
which
get
is
Fred
better,
to-
stream from the iPad or a phone?
I don't think it matters.
But our iPhones, our iPads don't have data, right? I mean, it's not, can you connect to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
You can connect through your phone.
So you can do
I mean,
it,
personally-
no, on your iPad.
I'm just trying to think, because
John.
sometimes,
Well, I'm here, I can get Facebook and stuff.
I agree, or John.
Yeah,
I'll point out that what I'm using to record and see the things now
right,
can stream online.
okay.
I just don't. Now, how we handle the questions is, I can do
Call
that
in,
too.
we advertise a
Well,
phone
can't they
number to the
type in and
public.
you read it? You
It should
should
be a chat line, right? You should be able to,
No,
like
'cause
you're
it's still-
asking a question of your
it's-
insurance company, do it online.
A meeting is still
Virtually done.
handled the same way. There's a section when the public can comment.
Correct.
It would not be full
No,
interaction.
100%, but like, okay, open public comment. Rich, any questions come in? Type questions.
Most
No
clerks
real
are giving
point.
a phone number to call in.
Okay.
And that would be fine too, so, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Whatever we do, we have to make sure that it meets cluster.
We don't have a phone line in this building.
Court has a phone number.
Okay. I don't know the number. We'll figure that out. All right, so we'll work on it just in case. I think we'll be doing that based on circumstances. So let me adjourn and then I'll answer your question. Wait, hold on. We're good. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bernie.